Give a big round of the hand. Give a big round. Give a big round. Give a big round. Give a big round. Give a big round of the hand. Give a big round. Give a big round. Big round. Give a big round. Give a big.
We could have homes on separate coasts, go dive in Greece with squids. Could have been so bleeping rich, but instead we had kids. They won't smile for a photo, they won't eat the food we choose. That's why we're heading to the Parents' Lounge to drown ourselves in booze. Every day we're more exhausted, we haven't slept in years. Hit me in the nuts so bad, my eyes filled up with tears. And yes, we'd like to fake our death and go off of the grids, but the truth is we are softies and we truly love our kids. So join us every Tuesday night to laugh at all our pain. Evening in the Parents' Lounge is the cure to staying sane. Welcome to the Tuesday night parental mental health edition of the Parents' Lounge podcast. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'm Jamie Kaler, as always with Jason Gowan and my buddy Justin Ruppel. And we have a fantastic show for you tonight. We normally do a big intro and we bring our guest in, but she's too special. So we just, and honestly, with the three idiots of us, she's going to be the voice of reason. So we're going to get out of her way and let her discuss matters of the heart.
Hey, Brandon.
Hey, Brandon's already here. Hey, guys. Hey. This lovely woman I know very well. Our kids populate the same establishment, I think, where they're trying to learn things. And she has been on every single TV show and comedic movie of the past 25 years, I believe.
Oh, everything.
All three Hangovers and pretty much everything. Your credit list is pretty sick.
I wish. I'm begging.
All three Hangovers, Step Brothers, Tacoma FD, the recently Academy Award nominated film, The Holdovers. Too many to list. Please welcome Gillian Vigman is here tonight.
Yay!
Hi, guys. Hello. It is such an honor and a pleasure and a privilege.
Yes. Well,
ours, trust me.
It's out. It's all ours.
Oh,
hey guys. Jessica she's not, and honestly, Jessica's not very excited for our shows typically. So I think honestly, just having a woman in general, a human who gave birth, I think is somebody that,
I always makes me sad. My boobs were never enough for these people.
What's it like?
Wait a minute, but isn't there something you can take to actually lactate?
Oh my God!
Justin.
I honestly hadn't done that much digging.
Don't knock it till you try it.
It's a valid question.
Lactating?
Listen, there's a whole kink.
Men can lactate.
Kink. Yes, I believe they can too. As a matter of fact, I think there are drugs that men can take to potentially lactate. So, Justin, not only in the parent world, but I'm guessing also in the kink-friendly world, this would all work very well. Mm-hmm. And by the way, being a parent and kink, I bet there's a lot of crossover.
Oh, definitely.
I would 100%. I would. The kink world. Here's the deal: if there's money to be made in the kink world, then it'll be made. And I'm sure lactation pills, it would not be the first time I've heard that mentioned.
Thank you.
You could make a whole line of thruple shakes, Justin. Get on it.
Viggs, by the way, we should warn you, Justin has no children, but he has 2 wives.
Do you really?
I do.
This is so exciting because I know that you probably feel annoyed that book just came out and you're like, excuse me, we were ahead of the curve.
Which book?
There is some new polyamory book that is making a scene. I wish I knew the name of it. We can look it up while we're here. I heard about it like on NPR. There's mention of it. If it's made it on NPR, it's
absolutely. I mean, here's the deal. It's
and New York Times. It was the New Yorker. I read it in the New Yorker.
You read the New Yorker?
I do. I actually get the magazine form, the actual physical magazine, because I'm 69 years old.
Yes.
She might be the most highbrow person that's ever been on this program.
Well, merci. That's thank you.
She is probably one of the most educated people we've ever had on this show.
No, she is the most educated person.
Yeah.
She's reading the New Yorker. I mean, not just the covers.
No one in our client list has ever gone that high. No.
But
We did have
clearly,
Larry the Cable Guy, though. Larry the Cable Guy was on the show.
And I also want to say, I read the article that relates to Justin. So I like the good stuff.
You know, I am very excited that is the case. And I thought you were going to reference the television show that was coming out on. Thank you. I was, it's nice to see any mention of polyamory that doesn't end in some sort of murder scenario.
Right.
I mean, like most of the times my little family were like, oh, look, there's a throuple. We're like, oh, someone's going to die. It is a guarantee. It's like the easiest that, like, it's, you know, even in documentaries, they're like, we thought it was a love triangle. It's like, shut up.
Yeah.
God darn it.
Here's what I can tell you is that, like, I'm 100 years older than Gillian. So if more people, when I was coming up through the dating processes, if we knew that was on the table, I think there's way more people in that market, because honestly, with kids, it makes a lot of sense. Like, he doesn't have kids, but if you did, wouldn't it be great, Viggs, to have like another spouse to go like, hey, your turn, your like, I'd be like, oh, I'm straight up home. You guys go out.
This is like, Gillian, I think this is set up more for kids. I think. I mean, because you're right.
It takes a village.
It's the Amish way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe the Amish are onto something, and we're the idiots.
You can set up a schedule every weekend over who's going to be doing what. Like, okay, I know you, and I'm sure you were 2 attorneys, or you've got like an archaeologist and maybe a plastic surgeon,
a real estate agent, and a cannabis marketer. Yep.
Climatologist.
I was going to say, I just wet myself, but I have to tell you, if and when you guys if you are going to procreate, you will have a far better, you can write a book about it. Speaking of making millions, because
not only that, his last name is literally Ruppel, and he's in a thruple. I mean, if he hasn't trademarked it already, I can't help him.
Right. Mine's just a pig man.
Yeah.
It's a pig.
That's the tattoo.
Oh, that's so awesome. Wait, show that again. Can I see that again?
We all have the thruple tattoo on the ring finger.
Wow. Oh, that's fantastic.
Well, what's funny is before the show started, Gillian convinced us all that she had a tramp stamp, which isn't true. She doesn't have one. And of course, it turns out Justin does have one.
I have it. It's worse than a tramp stamp.
What is the front one called?
It's called pathetic. It's what it's called.
Yeah, actually, Viggs, what would you call a frontal tramp stamp?
Penal shame.
How about a grill thrill? Since it's not in the bag,
that's good.
Grill thrill's not bad, or a frontal nameotomy.
Yeah. What does it say? Is it like I'm begging or thriving?
That's a good guess. Actually, let's ask the audience if people.
Yeah, anybody put your guesses as to what is on the front of Justin's. What is on the entrance to Narnia here?
Let's guess what song the wind chimes plays on your front porch. Let's see what happens there.
Can I add that Narnia, if you remember, he travels through all the fur coats, which is leading me to think that you do not manscape enough, because that means that it's very thick. Oh, it's right there. It's right there.
There's a fur coat. I'm in a closet right now. You know.
Penal shame.
My God, how
Narcolepsy says penal shame is headlining Coachella, and they are
right. It's I think Concrete Blowjob opens for them. It's one.
I believe they do.
Yeah. Oh,
no, he is. He's Armenian. He is so groomed. He is so groomed. It came out on stage. We all did a show together, a Parents Lounge Live in Pennsylvania, and he had to show it to the audience, and it was.
So you guys know what it looks like with the
I mean, I tried to look away, but it's burned into my retinas.
Is it like I have one more guess. Is it like an MC Escher? Like, is it like a picture of your penal stamp on a penal stamp on a penal stamp? Yeah. Like, are you being caught in a penal stamp and caught in it? Like, it's so
Do you know what's
complicated.
sad?
As far as I know, I'm still in there.
We knew we were in trouble when she said, I actually get a physical hard copy of the New Yorker and I read it. That's when I was like, oh, we're in serious. We're in serious
screwed, man.
Yeah.
It's an infinity symbol, that Mobius strip, and then it's you were right, and then it is it's even worse. It's 2 lightning bolts and a poem. So the lightning bolts go into the Mobius strip. Yeah.
No, shut up. She's saying shut up.
I'm gonna unzip my pants. Can you talk slower?
It gets worse.
Oh.
It gets worse.
Yep.
So I wrote a poem when I was 16 that was like, that read like a postcard.
Yep.
Like to the man I am now.
Oh.
For the man I will be. Always remember, you are still me. And you know what's better? The guy who did the tattoo didn't put you are. So he just wrote your. So I have a grammatical spelling error.
Stop it.
It's he has no regrets. It's really terrible.
I just picture everybody who sees this and there's no turning back.
What's crazy is he found with that he got 2 wives. He didn't even just get
they were
one.
like, this is romantic and very moving and heady.
Oh, my wife is very attractive. That's the difference. It's
I know.
The tattoo is not that's not helping anything. I was 21 in Vegas.
So impressed.
There should be a rule that you shouldn't be able to do that to you.
I agree. That actually would be a really interesting rule if tattoos could only be given to people over the age of 22. Like if there was some sort of rule, because how many people would not?
Right at 21.
Right. Well, I was going to say, like the Gen X people, how many Calvin and Hobbes would not be pissing off someone's ankle?
How many Guns N' Roses? You remember? Think about the Guns N' Roses tattoo. I've seen that on so many Gen X men in my life. The two 6-shooters.
Oh no. The worst one is the very first guy who was like, you know what would be cool? Barbed wire.
Barbed wire.
Yes.
Yeah.
One guy did it and was like, showed it to everyone. So everyone was like, that's awesome. And no, he's like, no one else. And now everybody, everyone in the 90s had barbed wire.
Yes, they did. They did. But it'd be great to have barbed wire around your penal shaft. How many people will do that?
And it's
the way.
It scrolls all the way down, kind of like what's the weapon in Walking Dead? He's got the baseball bat.
Oh, like Negan's bat, Lucille.
Lucille. Yeah.
He doesn't even catchphrase Negan.
If you pull it out and that's what it is, it's just a barbed wire.
Right.
So Vic, no tattoos. Have you ever been tempted to get a tattoo?
I have never, and I really don't know why. My spouse has tattoos, and he's older, so he got them Christmas wreath. That's good. He got them when he was in the 90s, so it was like back when like you were still seen as a little bit of a rebel.
A rebel, yeah.
Yeah, like this was before a lot of people were sleeved, and this is not anything bad or good. But he was a musician, so maybe that that kind of played into it. It sort of seems like it was like sailors, people on the docks, then musicians and prisoners, and then chefs. Like there's like a weird ladder.
That is exactly it.
Well, I was in the Navy. I was a Navy lieutenant, and guys had. I never got one. I went with guys when they got.
You guys were the first ones. The Navy.
Yeah, they had the sailor and stuff, but
you never got
in the
one.
90s, if you saw guys with sleeves, you were like, what's your band's name? Like,
Right.
It was almost like if you were in a band, it was a way to go, there's no plan B. This is it. It's music or nothing, man.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he's at working at Starbucks going, oh, the band thing didn't work.
Well, here's what's so interesting now. I mean, like, just like you said, that was the thing, but now we're in 2024 and everybody had I would almost argue that the majority now might lean into.
I think you're right.
Dude, and not just that, but like it used to be, if you saw a face tattoo, you're like, wow, that guy's obviously on
that's
his way
the end
to
of their
prison.
life, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, they're
you
about
will
to end
never
it.
work. And now I see people with like behind all around the neck, and I'm just like, wow, dude, really?
Two of my friends have thriving syndicated radio shows with neck tattoos and face tattoos. I'm like, there you go. That proves I didn't know what the hell I was talking about.
Yeah. I don't know how well they age. I remember, did you guys ever see Body Worlds or Body Works? It was that museum of
Oh yeah.
the crazy that crazy hot German guy scientist. He turned all their body. Remember he plastinated.
Couldn't go in there. Yeah.
Well, you see a lot of skin with tattoos on them, and it is not a pretty sight to see old skin with tattoos. It doesn't.
I can tell you just from a stretch mark.
Yeah, exactly.
Can I also venture a guess? Old skin, also not great in general.
That is this tattoo I was going to get. Is if I was going to get a face tattoo, it would say old skin. Old skin. And either I'll put it on the downstairs area or on my face.
I thought you were going to put a tattoo of a younger person's face on your face.
I'm waiting for narcolepsy to say old skin's actually headlining the B stage at Coachella.
Also,
sorry, narcolepsy, to steal your joke before you. I am pondering. I think I'm going to get one eventually.
What would it say?
I don't know yet.
But the kids' names?
Probably something about the kids. Something they wrote when they were kids or something. And I don't know
or you should take Justin's
for the girl I am now to the girls
and make sure.
By
you
the
get
way,
the grammatical.
Let me ask everyone in the audience everywhere: was there ever anything that you wrote at the age of 16 that you were like, "This is gold. This is going to be the best thing. You know what? I need to immortalize this for the rest of my life." At 16 years old, you were like, "That's it. These words in this order, perfection. Can't get any better."
Guess what? At the age of 42, there's nothing I've written that I want to immortalize.
No. No.
Well,
nothing.
Here's the thing. This was you're appreciate this. There were no women in my life with these tattoos. Okay. Yeah. There was no woman to tell me, hey, let's think about this just for a few seconds. This was and Jamie, you know this.
You needed a woman to tell you that was a terrible decision.
Yeah. You know why? You know why I did? Because I got it on my 21st birthday with all of my best friends around, and they're like, "This is gonna get you laid."
Those, by the way, just in retrospect, those were not your best friends. Those
they're
were
not.
The worst enemies. Those are the worst people. Those are the guys that when you pass out, draw a dick on your face. Those are not.
Brother.
Are they also the friends that said, "This is going to get you laid in prison"?
I'd need it on the back for prison, right?
I was going to say the dude in prison would be like, "Hey, man, you should have put that on the back. What are you doing?"
I don't.
Right.
This
well,
face
maybe he wants
say,
full eye contact.
I'm just, I guess if I'm in missionary,
yeah, he's going to stare like he won't even blink. He won't even blink. He'll be staring at you like this is the best thruple. Exactly.
Okay.
All right.
So you're an accomplished actress. You're a mom.
Oh boy.
You've been in many programs. You didn't just do one of the Hangovers. You're all three Hangovers.
I'm a glorified extra. Let's be honest. Oh,
well, isn't everybody except for Zach pretty much on that? Ken Jeong.
Ken Jeong is great in it. It's great. The fun thing was just watching them all do their thing. I mean, and then I would show up and give a weird face and then leave. But I got to go to Thailand. Listen, that was the best part.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Where is that the craziest place you've traveled for work?
Thailand, or I think it was New Zealand is the best, craziest place I traveled because I really I went to New Zealand to do a kids movie. I mean, again,
I thought you were going to say Lord of the Rings.
I should have lied.
That would have been so good.
So good. But the best part about it was I did it. This is a shout out to.
Wait, is this Goosebumps?
No, this is I can't even remember. It's called Aliens in the Attic. No one will have watched it. Maybe your children will watch it, but it's fun. But Austin Butler is like my nephew in it. And I had to help him once with an audition like he was like, "Can you help me with this audition?" I said, "Sure." And I remember reading with him and it was a drama. And when I was done, I was like, "Holy shit, you are an amazing actor. Has anyone ever told you that?"
You knew that right up top, and he's
right up top. I was like, this little kid. He's like this very tall, handsome 16-year-old. I'm sure he was preparing his poem for his dick. It encouraged me to start writing again. I thank you.
Yeah.
That was really funny. Yeah. So New Zealand was the best, and I think the saddest part is my favorite part of that. It was the first time I ever flew first class, and it was Air New Zealand. And by the way, I only fly first class if it's work. I can't afford to fly first class.
Jamie
And-
does. Nobody else in this thing does.
Yeah.
No, I'm the same. But I've done it for work where it's like I
Yeah,
went to
it's the
South
best.
Africa first class.
Oh, that's
Don't they have?
the
Yeah,
best.
don't they
The
have
same
to fly
price.
us for SAG? For SAG,
Yeah.
they have to fly us.
Yeah. If it's SAG, they have to fly you first class. The flight for me to South Africa was I went to Cape Town was $12,000.
Holy, yeah.
Yeah.
And I wonder if I
flight was.
did I even make it that much money? That's the saddest part. I think they paid more for the flight than how much
Me
they
too.
paid me.
I might. Yeah, maybe. Mine was a commercial. Actually, they shot a commercial in South Africa and
Oh,
flew us
that's
out. And I only
awesome.
it was like 6 days shooting. I only worked like 2 of them, so I just
So you
traveled
could
around.
go. Oh,
I just hung out and
that's
saw the penguins and stuff. It was super fun.
that's the coolest thing ever. That's what I got to do too. Is like
Those jobs are few and far between.
very few and far between.
International first class. Is it as great as we all imagine?
Yes.
Yes,
I mean,
I still have the pajamas upstairs that they.
I'm sorry.
They give you a set of. They give you a set of pajamas that are awesome. I was on British Airways and then I was on Lufthansa. The opposite way.
British Airways.
Yeah, I went through London and then the way back I went through Berlin.
I want airline jammies.
Yeah,
Crazy.
honestly.
I had a girlfriend at the time and she was like, "Hey, you should cash that in and we'll get 2 coach tickets and we'll both go." And I go, "Yeah,
Bye.
No.
Bye. See you
That's not
later.
No.
Nope.
You know what you said to her, Jamie? You know what you said? Get off my plane.
You're like, there's this place called Target, and it's got really good pajamas. You should get a pair.
That really. I think I watched 14 movies or something.
Oh.
You, so you have children.
I do.
You have 2. It's weird. When I see you, sometimes I go, "That's all right. Vix has kids."
I know it's a very uncomfortable thing for people to imagine me with children.
It's really scary at times.
Why is that?
Yeah.
Because I'm disgusting, Justin.
Oh.
Because it's hard for people to imagine that I want to raise good people.
That's true.
Because
We've
I
already
have
heard
a lot of shame, and I say a lot of gross things.
Have they seen the work you've done?
A little bit of it, not that much, because it's disgusting, Jamie. No, the one thing that was really interesting is one time when my son, who is now 14, when he was about 9 or 10, I'm on a animated series, and my character, shockingly, is disgusting, and she just swears a lot, and they beep it out. But Ben, my son, sat there like arms crossed with all the people on the other side. And I remember looking at him with my headphones on. I'm like, mom is about to be repulsive, just so you know. And he's kind of like I haven't heard it before. And this is like he was 9 or 10. And I went, they're like, "We need you to go bananas." So I said every gross word I know in every way.
You know, you read the New Yorker, so you know a lot.
Listen, I go deep and I go intellectually. I'm going to disturb you on so many levels. From prison to the Bible to your thesis. And I have to say, it was great. Ben, like the people were dying, which was great. Like all I care about is the people pleasers. Like they were loving it. And Ben looked totally nonplussed. And they said, "What did you think of what she did?" And he goes, "She can do better." And that's when I realized
How old? He was 10?
He was like 9 or 10. He was in 4th grade.
Wow.
And
How old are your kids now?
so 14 and 9.
14 and 9.
Yeah.
She can do better.
Yeah.
Do they think you're funny?
Yes. I say that questionably because, I think it's hard for kids when you are funny, but then you also have to parent them. It sort of takes away some of the charm.
Yeah.
We had Keckner on, and Dave Keckner is arguably
so funny.
one of the funniest people who's ever lived, like crazy funny. And he's like, my kids don't think I'm funny at all. And we're rolling, but he's like, I can just see his kids. He's like, they hate me. It's so funny.
Well, and don't you wish that you're like, you should see the naked trucker? Can you imagine like if what his daughters would say, if they would love that or if they'd be mortified?
I told him when he was on the show, It's the funniest thing I ever saw live in my entire time when I went to Largo to see it. Did you ever see it, Justin? You're too young, I think.
Oh, it's on YouTube, Justin. It's worth looking at.
Is it on YouTube?
It is, yeah.
Live in the room, it was one of the funniest things I've ever.
Same.
I was shocked. And I was like, I had come to town and was like, I'm going to be funny and a comedian. And then I saw those guys and I was like, oh,
forget it. Forget it.
You can be that funny. I had no idea. Keckman was blazing. It was one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
What's the guy's name again who plays? It's like he's got a 3-name name. It's like David. It's not a David Hyde Pierce, but he's also in Freaks and Geeks as the awesome, like a hippie teacher. He's so great. But then together, they're so different, and that's why it worked so well.
He is naked. He's naked with a guitar covering his junk. With his ass hanging. He's butt naked on stage with the guitar strapped low so it covers his junk.
They
messed it up on Comedy Central. They tried to do it, but it didn't resonate. But on live it was crazy.
Justin, it's so Berlin 1931.
It really is.
Wow.
That's a good reference, Megs. That's
Thank you, New Yorker.
It is funny. I went to see a friend's live show the other night, and it was weird. I was in an audience, and it had been a long time since I went to like a show. Like I've done stand-up here and there, but to go out, and I sat in a guy's show at the Dynasty Typewriter, which is an amazing little theater in Hollywood. And I went to see a show. I hadn't seen one in forever, and I was like, oh, I remember this. Because nowadays it's like, even the kids, I was watching some guy who's huge now. He's a stand-up. And so what he does, he posts on TikTok a clip of him doing crowd work, but it's jump cut and edited. So he took like an 8-minute clip, cut it down to 45 seconds, literally cut out, which obviously was not good stuff. Yeah, garbage. And then posted it. Huge numbers, but you're like, well, if you see this guy live, you're going to have to sit through 8 minits to get the 40 seconds of
the goal.
And then when you see somebody really who's just a pure comic, a live performer, just riddle you, it's so amazing.
It's the best.
Yeah,
it's the best. I know you got to go see like old school, like an Eddie Pepitone, and then you.
My God, he used to come to O'Brien. So for those of you who don't know, I started a bar show back in the 80s. Eddie Pepitone. It's blinding. He has a bit. He came in. We're in the back of a bar. It's like a dive Irish bar. And Eddie Pepitone gets up and he tries to tell a joke or two. He's like almost through tears. It's very odd. The jokes aren't landing. He's like, he tries to tell a joke. It doesn't hit. He goes, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I want to be funny tonight, but my kid was kidnapped from the Beverly Mall in the Beverly Center. And he goes off on this tangent of like, and he goes, I want to be funny, but if that guy's here, I'm going to kill you. And then he goes back and tries to tell another joke, but there's this underlying ruination of like, my kid has been kidnapped 3 hours ago. And it was like,
that's the best. So when they only make people like you laugh, it's like when I saw Fred Armisen, this is again, remember, this is all before 2015. This is all before diversity. And I say this with all peace and love. He would, maybe you guys remember this. He used to do an indigenous person as a stand-up.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember seeing him probably where was it it was in the top floor of O'Brien's.
Yeah. Oh,
not O'Brien's, the one by La
Acme
Cienega.
Comedy Theater. Yeah. Farfalla.
I think it was
room 5. It was room 5 upstairs.
It was somewhere around there. And I was the only one. I was falling on the floor, dying laughing, and the rest of the room was crickets. And I was like, I don't know. I was like, this guy's the funniest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And he's like, what happens when you cross an eagle with a bear? And he's like, hokey. And I'm like, the audience is like, they're right. The way they treat Eddie Pepitone, they're like, this is junk.
Well, comics love the stuff that is so far out of the realm of conceptuals. We want to be surprised.
Yes,
comedians want to be surprised, whereas the audience, it's a little easier to surprise them.
Yes,
so that's what I'll tell you. What I know, that's actually a great point, because the stuff I see online now is like low hanging fruit.
Yes,
like here's the 5 types of parents at the Super Bowl.
Oh yeah,
drop the zip.
Right, but
I'm the drunk. I go, we all got
right.
it.
But but this is the problem: is that everybody in this chat here, I don't want to push everybody's, sunshine up their butthole, but the Beatles and everybody else has never played an instrument.
First of all,
But
you just compared me to the Beatles. It's the
Yeah,
nicest thing you could say.
Well, you've crushed so far. At least you're Ringo.
I'm kind of more like CC in the Music Factory, but I'll take that. The Beatles.
Here's what I'll tell you. There's no
CC in the Music Factory.
Again,
what was the song?
Things that make you go. It goes things that make you go.
Things that make you go.
Things that make you go.
Coming home late, smelling like perfume.
Yeah.
Even in my kids' generation, and I get so infuriated because even I was talking to Hannah today, and she was like, she was kind of reminiscent of that. I forget how she said it. She goes, "It's a crappy era to grow up," and I go, "It kind of is." Nobody has any patience for anything. I go to Largo one time. Mary Lynn Rice Cube, who's blindingly funny, she gets up and she does this really dated set, eating it, bombing for like 6 straight minutes, bombing, telling these old corny jokes, just bombing. And she commits 100%. When her set ends, she wheels a television out on stage. She had done Joan Rivers' set verbatim from 1972 on The Tonight Show. And she played it. And Joan Rivers murders.
That's
absolutely
hysterical.
Murders. And it was just the payoff was so
that's
huge.
Kaufman shit right there.
That's very
it was
wow.
really brilliant. But you couldn't, if you tried to put that up online, people would 3 seconds go boring, like nobody. There's no patience anymore, and so there's no payoff for anything. But
sure,
really
you're right that wouldn't work online, but in person, that
it's a dream.
That is gold.
Gold.
Here's the thing, like I remember when I was starting out in comedy, there was a big a fraction down comedy. Do you put your stuff online on YouTube or not? Because YouTube was the only thing that existed. And I remember having this big argument with all my comedian friends. Do we think Bo Burnham is good or not? He had never done a special, but he was the biggest thing on YouTube, right? And I remember thinking, man, I had this exact statement. He's never done a set. He's never understood what it's like to be out there. He doesn't get it. He's not that funny. Then I watched his special and I was like, I'll shut the hell up.
He's brilliant.
Because brilliance is brilliance. And the medium, like Jill Hughley says, it's just, you're just putting the water into the glass and whatever glass it is, So like,
that's really interesting.
I think the cool ones, the really great ones, are the ones who are doing something just a little different. That at the beginning you're like, what is this?
But you can actually do really well with basically plagiarized material nowadays. You can do you can make a lot of money basically plagiarizing as much.
Will you get caught? Will you get
nobody
caught?
cares anymore. You can't get caught.
Oh, really?
Plagiarism is
to the effect of on the internet, making. I'll put it this way. I do a lot on TikTok, and TikTok is an entire platform based on, hey, did you see that other person do this? Do your own version of it, right? And so it may be
interesting.
Yeah,
Bo Burnham has that bit in his special Inside where he does a bit and then he comments on the bit while the other bit's in. Then he comments on the second bit, and then he comments on the third, and it keeps growing in. Have you seen Inside, Viggs? It's so good.
I'm actually going to go see this on Friday. That because I'm an older Jewish woman. I'm going to go to the Pasadena Playhouse, and I'm going to go see Kate Berlant's her one-woman show, and it was directed by Bo Burnham.
Oh, is that right?
Oh,
and
really?
I've heard he's terrific, and I've heard she's terrific. So I'm very excited to see this Kate Berlant person.
I would go see that. She's amazing. Yeah. She's really
and I don't know anything about her either.
Well, let me ask you, Viggs, with a 14-year-old and a 9-year-old, what are your kids into? And do you go, oh, that's pretty good? Or are you like, why are you watching this crap?
Oh, they watch garbage. I mean, both of them. There's nothing cool about what they do. I hate everything they do in general. I was trying to think about, there's a point, and I think all kids hit this point, especially boys, when they're preteen to teen, they all watch The Simpsons, which it says so much about The Simpsons, which I love, like that it says that The Simpsons sort of can stand the roughage of time, just like my butthole, just kidding. I don't know why I said that. That seemed appropriate at the time.
That's how she finds if there's kind of a pause in the conversation. She's
You
like,
guys
well,
can. I wish you could edit that. I'm
It
sorry.
felt so
Let me-
organic too.
let
Like
me
it just
feed
sort
them.
of.
Yeah,
It's like a little
Oh.
trail of breadcrumbs to
sorry.
find her
I
way
know.
home. She
Yeah,
drops
Jamie,
off.
awful.
Jason, put it in this 34-minute.
I already
34.
did.
All right, good.
Oh, son of a
Yeah.
But I think
It's
that
no big
that
deal. We're just live to the
I
whole
know.
world.
I feel awful. I
it's
hope
fine.
our
No, you don't.
principal
No,
hears
Not
it's
as
this.
bad as your
funny shit
butthole
ever.
feels.
Oh, but exactly. Thank you. Not as bad as #thriving on the front of I'm so sorry. Oh, it's watching Absurd Planet. You know what? I have to say there are a couple shows my kids have watched, and maybe like Absurd Planet, I really enjoyed, and this is because I'm a dork. There's that Canadian show, The Odd Squad, and I know it's so dumb, but I really liked it. There's a couple of kid shows that you could watch. You're like, oh, I can do this. Like a lot of the movies, like any
Sure.
of the movies that they watch that are whatchamacallit type movies. Why can't I think of what they're called?
Pixar, like
Yes.
a Pixar film.
In general,
Those are good.
Pixar's are
Inside
great.
Out. Yeah,
But
Inside Out's
everything else is
fantastic.
garbage. Like I remember I tried to sit with my 14-year-old a year and a half ago to watch Outer Banks. I couldn't do it. Like, any of like the sexier like teen type shows are horrible.
That's funny. Like, YA. Like, is it YA
Yeah.
stuff they talk about?
Yeah. Although I love, listen,
She's going through her notes. She has notes for tonight's show.
I love it. I love it.
Your kids, are they? Because you're pretty educated. Are you getting a master? Are you getting a master's now?
I am. I after everything I've said, it sounds horrible that I'm going to say that I want to be a therapist.
Well, it actually comes with your
It's actually
subscription
amazing.
to the New Yorker.
Really does.
So-
It's definitely New Yorker adjacent. Yes.
Well, don't you think? I listen. During the pandemic, I stopped getting on stage, and my wife was like, "What is wrong with you?" And I go, "I don't have my outlet. Stage was my therapy always,
Yeah.
and like that. So I'm honest to a fault. Like I just say things. My wife's like, "What do you know?"
Weird. I never noticed.
Yeah. So that's my therapy. I think you're in the same vein where you just say what you think and what you feel, and if it's funny, it's funny. And I love when people get offended. You're like, dude, what do you care? Why do you care what other people think?
It's true. And I'm going to have to learn how to sort of shut it down a little bit, because now I'm going to be listening. And there are so many, there's so many things you have to be cognizant of when you're a therapist. And one, like, I can't say the sort of things that I want to say on a daily basis, but it's about actually taking care and listening to what they're saying and remembering there's these things called ethics and legal issues that I have to be it's crazy to think about, because I'm like, oh, I guess I can't do that then. Okay, life coach it is.
You can't just
Well, here's the good news, Gillian. My therapist is online, so it's all all like this.
Yeah,
So you could just sit there and nod and put your mic mute on.
Down. Yeah,
Put your pants down, right, and then put your hand over your mouth like you're, and then just say the stuff that you're thinking.
right.
Because
you can't just say like, dude, get your shit together. Will you just get over it? I love when people like something happened in their past. I'm always like, forget about it, man. Just move on. It's over. Let it go.
Yeah.
You can't
hold on.
Yeah.
There's you guys remember, maybe you don't. I think it was early, like 2000, maybe. There was an episode of MadTV where they had Bob Newhart on. And Bob Newhart just did one sketch that will forever live as the greatest sketch ever. Some woman comes in and she sits down. He's like, "Hi, welcome. You saw the sign on the newspaper. It's $5 for 5 minutes. It's therapy. 5 minutes. You don't get the money back if you don't make it all 5 minutes. 5 minutes. That's all you get.
Yeah.
We good?" And she's like, "Yeah." And she says a problem. She's like, "So should I continue seeing this guy or not?" And he goes, "Stop it." And she said, "What? Well, I think I should just stop it.
I feel that way.
It's not good for you. Just stop it." "Okay. Do you have any other problems?" "Well, I've been eating too much." "Just stop it."
I feel that way. That's how I talk. That's my kids' therapy.
And literally, he just says, "Stop it," right to her face for 3 minutes, and that's it.
There's no turn at the end?
No.
Where's the turn? Where's the
turn-
payoff? There's
the
no
turn-
third act?
No.
It's just
It's
one of
just
those
Bob
sketches that
Newhart.
just is. It's a Tim Conway sketch where it just goes till the end and there's no turn, where she turns it on him and then the patient goes, "No, you stop it." And then he goes, wait, what?
He did.
Huh.
She did say that at one point. You stop it. And he goes, stop what? So
So my kids, it's so funny. They'll alternate. Like one day Hannah will be a pain in the ass in the morning. And Claire will be like, oh, Hannah's a real pain in the ass. And the next day, Claire's a pain in the ass. And Hannah's like, oof, how about Claire being a pain in like they almost like go, all right, is it your turn or my turn? Like whose turn is to be a dick today? And
no, ours don't even take turns. It's just all three every day being complete douchebags.
We'll get to you. So I always have a conversation with them, and they're like pouting in the car, and I go, look, you can make a decision to have a crap day, or you can, for lack of a better term, stop it. I don't say stop it, but I go, look, it's up to you. Nothing anyone else is doing is affecting you. You need to, choose your own path or whatever. And sometimes it works, mostly not. But
I know what to tattoo above my bush.
Stop it.
I think we're done. I
I love that I still love that you're going full 1970s.
We're going right back. Oh, please. I have a very tiny Dorito. I will add, though, that I do think that's such an interesting thing about the kids and when they sort of try to like rat each other out.
Totally.
What's the age? What's the age difference?
Mine are only 18 months. What's it like with 5 years difference? I mean, the 14-year-old must just beat up the 9-year-old.
Yes, and sometimes he's just as immature, and you have to and you say mean things like, "Dude, you're older," and he's like, "What?" And you forget, we as adults, when we were in our 20s, and our parents or somebody that was like a parental figure to us brings us right back to being an asshole child. Mm-hmm. And watching him fight with her on her level, on a 4th grade level, I'm like, you should be embarrassed. And he's kind of like, you forget, they can't stop themselves. They are clicked in to the sibling, no, you stop it, or whatever it might be. Sure. You're a dick, whatever it might be. I think they'll never get out of it. They're going to be in their 40s doing 60s. But
what does he? I'll bet he's very protective of her when
I'm going to say
somewhere else. Somewhat protective.
When he's not up his own ass, he's fairly protective.
He's a 14-year-old boy. He's up his ass a lot. He's up his own ass all the time.
Oh my God, continually. Yeah.
A 14-year-old boy in the house. That must be a lot of energy.
You know what's going on.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of it. What are you doing up in your room? Why are you in the house? Why are you in the bathroom? Yeah. Do you take away his tube socks when he's bad?
I take them all. Everything is there is and of course we live in California where there's always drought warnings. And I want to be like, you got to find another place to do that business, somewhere where you don't waste water. I wish I could be like, just stand in the shower and don't turn it on and do it.
Well, you'll figure it out when all his socks are starched.
It's disgusting. It's just, I can only imagine. And I have friends who are like, oh, I don't think my son's doing it. I'm like, as soon as you say that, they are.
Yeah.
Those are the same people who need to be held accountable for their children.
I think my biggest thing with kids in general is you have to have low expectations. If you don't have low expectations, you'll never be happy, because if you think your kids are going to be the president, this is my only thing that I've learned so far from life is I mean, it's good to have hope for your children, but I can't assume that my kids are going to be better than they're as good as they're going to be. And I can't assume they're going to be something better, because if I do, I'm going to become an alcoholic at the age of 69. And I'm going to be like, remember when you were I used to love that you jerked off in the shower, and now look at you. That's
So here's my new app.
Yes.
It's a sound machine, but instead of ocean rain and waves to help you sleep, it's a shower sound so that you can play it in the bathroom really loud and you don't have to waste water.
I think that's perfect.
Yeah, until it goes all Pavlov's dog on you and you get an erection every time it rains.
He's out in the front yard and he starts hearing a shower going. He hears a sprinkler going off. He's like, uh-oh, al dente, here we come. Oh, no.
Pardon me.
You could have all kinds of sound effects, like it's like a sound of you doing homework, like clacking the keys.
Yeah, anything.
You could have all
Your
all
mother
these
yelling just over and over again. That might turn you on.
Yes, that might.
Yep. Umbrellas
Sometimes
up.
you know when I
Let's
see these shows on Netflix, like the true crime stuff, and you guys were talking about the fetish
Umbrellas
earlier.
up, Jessica
pretty
says.
good.
Umbrellas up.
Pretty great. It's pretty much on point. Yep.
Sometimes I see people's kinks, and I'm just shocked that human our genetic makeup. It's obviously like you can't, like when someone is attracted to something, even though it's terrible for society, they can't help that, right? Like it's their natural kink. And some of those true crime shows, I'm like, well, that guy's turned on by what?
Like, are you always thinking like maybe I should try this?
No.
Okay.
No, there's a lot of
30% of the time.
Well,
yeah, exactly.
Well, you know the famous story about Danny. Is it Danny Thomas? He liked to sit under a glass table and have.
Oh yeah, people take a poo-poo.
Yeah.
A doo-doo.
A doo-doo.
Yeah.
You guys, I mean, Gillian knows this is with her research and studying. Sure. But I mean, all kinks, especially if they are, if they're a fetish, are born of a moment in time where you felt a sexual charge at an early age, and there was an object there, or was the cause of that special feeling. So when you think about like, why latex? And you're like, well,
right.
Maybe the first time you got a spanking, there was a glove on. Maybe there was, like there's all these things that are like, really.
Can you get turned on by just talking about kinks? Because that's what I'm feeling. Just the conversation, you talking about that child being turned on by latex.
That is the kink.
Yes, I think so. But do you think
I am
as a parent,
so boring. I am so
Justin,
boring.
You just brought something up, and I'm going to ask the parents here.
Oh no!
So what if you found out that you have a child that is like hardcore into kinks, like is a part of like a kink nation? Would you say to yourself,
I saw Kink Nation at Coachella in 2004, and they were They
were so good, but they're like they wish they were Dave Navarro.
Diggs is like band. All she does is come up with band names. She's
the
really
best. It's the best.
Like you should start a T-shirt business.
Do you think that you would say, "I'm so glad my child, who's now like say like young adult or somebody, I'm so happy that they feel so free," or would you be like, "What the fuck wrong did I do? What did I do wrong?"
I think in this house, they're just carrying on family legacy.
He has 3.
I was about to say you were gonna.
He has 3 boys, and I have 2 girls. So it's, I mean, it's a world of difference. But
speaking of weird kinks with your children, we were watching the WWE WrestleMania or the Royal Rumble this past weekend with the kids, and the women's match was on, and our one child we call the Dark Lord. We came in, he's naked, covered in orange Cheeto dust during the women's match, very, very excited, and he had an erection. And my wife, who does not make jokes ever, looks at me and goes, "Well, if you ever needed more proof, he's yours." There we go. Alyssa for the win.
It's great.
Holy cow! Well,
he was like, he had his full like autistic shake. He was like really,
Jamie,
really into it.
Jamie, I know this is a tough one because I'm really curious to what Gillian said, because you have girls. You know they're gonna have to. Here's the thing: kinks are good. You want somebody to get excited about something.
Yeah, I just want them to be open and comfortable and enjoy life is really my goal. And no hang-ups. I mean, the hang-ups are what. And listen, as someone who dated, I've dated a bit in my life. I've known women who have had, certain issues. And
were those issues kinks, or were they more issues?
Issues. Not, certain.
Sometimes
kinks.
that line is blurry.
Thank you. Yes, I feel the same way.
I agree. This whole, I love this new therapy, Gillian. It's really, I feel better about it.
She's making notes, you know that. Right?
It is weird. Yes. Listen, I just want them.
You want them to, like you said,
I want them to be happy. I really just want them to be happy. I don't want some dick to be mean to them. I mean, isn't it weird? Like when your kid hurts, it hurts you more than when you ever hurt in your whole life. It's the craziest feeling of like, I remember some kid bullying Hannah when she was like in kindergarten. For some reason, I was like, I want to punch that kid in the face.
Yes, he's horrible.
It's the
And you'll still
weirdest
think that
thing.
way. If you see that kid or his parents, you'll be like,
I
I hate
know.
them. I hate them.
It's a weird thing that you feel, but I just you just want them to be happy and fun.
Yeah.
And it's funny that you said something earlier too that I really resonated with, because I was always like overachiever and my kids are gonna be. And now I did a bit like a few months ago. Just it was a big bit of like, your kid is not going pro in sports. Stop it. It was this big long diatribe. I know you think they are. They're not.
No,
they're not. LeBron.
You're gonna hire that coach. Yeah, you're gonna hire that coach to work with your kid. Best of luck.
Every high school here in LA, they're all NBA. Kenyon Martin's son, Scottie Pippen's son, LeBron James's son. They're all NBA children who are like 6'8", can jump. You're like, my kid's not gonna compete. It's not gonna happen. So, it was a wake up call.
I think we've also figured out that if you want your kid to go pro, don't be there.
True.
You show me a pro biopic about a famous athlete who had a dad who was pitching and coaching and not.
Neglect equals the strive that we want, and the problem is we love too hard.
Are there outliers? Sure, but chances are, unless it's a prep sport like golf or tennis, don't be there and your child will excel just fine without you.
But you made a good point. Or it's either the neglect that you're saying, or it's like they are the Joe Jacksons, the
Tiger Woods' dad.
Yeah, the Tiger Woods' dad, the Andre Agassi dad,
Serena Williams' dad.
The Serena Williams
they are out there,
and they are the ones who are like, you will do what I could not do.
Yep.
But I mean, we just don't know about the ones who failed, because those people are the drug addicts that live probably underneath.
Well, that's the problem. They show the ones, the one movie, King Richard, and then now every dad out there's like, I'm going to do that. I'm writing a manifesto about my kids playing tennis. And you're like, it doesn't work that way, dude.
My kids will be doing really well if they just skip type 2 diabetes.
Yes.
Success.
Low expectations.
Well, actually, as a therapist, Jason's kids, his youngest twins have been nonverbal, and so they're going through this whole thing where they are starting to use the car. Oh my gosh, the videos make us cry every time we watch them.
Let's we can't watch them.
I don't have any new ones. Very good.
They're joys of happiness, but so his kids are starting to say words, and it's like heartwarming.
Some of it's unnerving. It's like the one who really was really kind of really far behind. It's starting to sound like a 1930s gangster when he's demanding milk, and he comes in. He's like, "I want milk.
Give me that milk. Give me that milk. I'll plug you."
That's what I was figuring when you said 1930s. I thought he was coming in going, "Listen here, Daddy."
No, it's more like more like
gams, Mom. Nice gams.
He's the muscle thug.
That's fantastic.
I do think at the end of the day, it's just like, you just want them to be happy. But also, you know what I'd like them to do? I'd like them to clear their plates. This is my new thing. So I hold the iPad hostage. It's like,
yes.
It's all it is.
I love those videos.
So this morning I said, listen, clear your plates from the table. I didn't want to give them the iPad during the weekend.
Clear your plate from the table. I thought you were doing the clean, get all the food off the plate.
Well, that's how you clear it. Well, sometimes we'll just stack them, and I go, no, you clear it into there, and then you put it in the sink, run water on it. So the egg, I get up, I make egg sandwiches, crepes. I made crepes yesterday. I make banana bread in the morning. I'll fire this up.
He's a good dad.
So I'm starting to make them do stuff, and when they don't, which they never do, I'm like, no iPad tonight.
Yeah. Listen, we started the idea of chores, and Ben is washing the dishes, and Katie now has to start washing her dishes. And if I make lunches, they wash out their lunch dishes, which they remember to do twice in a week at the most, if they remember at all. So it's like, it's like this slow build where it's because I want to raise them in that 1970s, 80s way that I was raised, a little bit like I was cleaning the entire house by the time I was 10. I knew how to make spaghetti bolognese. I could make pancakes. I did the laundry. I mean, I did have a lot of friends who were like, are you being, beaten? And I'm like, a little bit, but you know what? I'm going to take it with me when I become a professional golfer. Just kidding. Clearly, no.
Do you have siblings?
I do, but our family's very spread apart and weird. I have a half brother who is 9 years older than me, and I have an adopted sister who is 7 years younger than me. Korean, Jew, half Turkish.
Sure.
You know, the normal American family.
America. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, how have you not pitched that as a show? If that's not on Netflix by the end of February, I have no faith in this system anymore.
Sorry. And it would be great because it'd be in the 70s. And we had a lot of exchange students that lived with us in the 70s and 80s. And it was big.
Did you really?
Yep. We had the Danish exchange student who was the largest drug dealer in northern New Jersey. Ozzy. His name was Ozzy, and he looked like Jesus. He was beautiful. And the day that my mom was getting her gallbladder removed, the cops came to our house and they were like, is Ozzy, like, I feel like his last name was like Kilborin or something, like, is Ozzy Kilborin? Does he live here? We're like, yeah. And we had just come back from the hospital and they're like, so here's the deal. We need to arrest him because he's running the largest, this is like 1980. He's running the largest drug ring for all 4 local high schools.
Mm-hmm, sure.
And or he can just leave the country right now.
Mm-hmm.
So he left the country. It was fine.
We're back to Armenia.
He was from Copenhagen, and he made a tape because he played guitar for my mom and I because we thought he was so hot. You know, I was like 8, but I was like, he's so hot, and my mom thought he was so cute, so I brought it to her at the hospital with my, you know, I had like, remember the tape, the little carrier ones that you could have, and
with the little handle on it.
You had to put the pencil in. You had to put the pencil in to turn the wheel.
That's right.
Exactly. So we played it, and he was singing in Danish, and it was called Hot Cocoa. And my mom and I are bawling, and my brother's like, "You fucking idiots! He's singing about cocaine."
Yeah.
So even the song he wrote for us was about drugs.
And that guy is Marshmallow, by the way.
And that guy is the prime minister, right? That guy is
Yeah.
prime minister of Denmark right now.
He's a Vici. He was a Vici.
Exactly.
That's funny. He's a Vici.
Yeah.
God damn it. Here's what's
Figs, how have you not? That is a crazy.
Oh, there's so much. Jamie, I'll bore you about it.
Have you not
I did a
pitched
one-woman
that? Oh my
show. I
gosh.
did a one-woman show about my mom because she was a Pan Am stewardess, and her life is very much all about. I think it sort of is so centered around that, and that's how she raised us with this sort of flair. She's British, or she was British, so she was talk with a very.
my mom is
Serious.
the
Is that right?
Yeah.
She had an accent, and you didn't have any.
No, I could do it, but I'm from Jersey.
That's so funny.
my mother's the Americanized version of that. She another stewardess of the same time. Like, again, I would until I was in my mid-20s had never left the house without perfect hairdo and like that kind of like
Perfection
to the nines, like every single moment, like never a hair out of place. To this day, she won't leave
Very
the house.
important.
Makeup is not perfect.
Yes, they were taught all these things. They had to do them. They were weighed
That's true.
in. They had to have
the weigh-ins.
Yeah. Yes.
They went by. So I remember, your mom's probably the same thing. They put like these little bars up, these little wooden bars, and they'd be like, you have to walk through these bars. And so if you made contact with the bars, they'd be like, those are arms, those are shoulders in the aisleway. You can't be a stewardess.
Yes. And they also they wanted you to be at a certain height. They also made you wear a girdle because they want your ass to be firm and nice looking because you were at the men's eye level. So they had to have a good look at
the leaning into the sexualness of capitalism that used to happen.
Yeah.
That was so outward. Like, listen, there's gonna be some guys in there, so make sure, ladies, get your butts up, you know.
Yeah.
Like that kind of
and
stuff.
And Jason's son will be like, I want milk.
But when people flew back then, they'd wear a suit.
It was
You would dress up. You would dress
very
up.
high
It was
class.
a big deal. You'd have a meal.
Super
Yeah, it was
high
a big
class.
deal. So I know. Those days.
Was that
now
now,
people
hold
take
on.
their shoes and socks off next
Was
to you.
that better? Was that better or worse?
Oof, that's a hard one because it sure seemed classy, didn't it?
It seemed that way, but now I'm thinking myself, because we're all comedians here, how many times you had to fly? I mean, if I had to fly because I have to fly, and again, I just got off a flight yesterday. If I had to get in that flight in a suit, I'd be really pissed. know
Or
what I
would
mean?
you? Or would you? Because you'd be sitting next to people who are all behaving.
People wore suits to baseball games back in the day. You know,
Right.
That's an interesting
here's the
point.
deal. I think if we could go back to that era, but also maintain the integrity of people not being total skeeves. Like
That's really what it is, right?
certain people ruined it. Like even when I worked at the bar, you know, like it was wonderful. Nobody was filming each other. You could do crazy shit, but there were the skeeves who would pinch some girl's ass and she'd like turn around and smack him, and then he'd turn to me at the bar and go, "They love it." And I go, "No, this is weird. They don't love that. Nobody loved it." But there were guys like that. And the problem is they wrecked it for everybody because it was a great time of like, you know, people did open doors for women. There was more of a,
There was chivalry.
there was chivalry. That's the word I was like.
That'll
It's
be another
interesting.
tattoo.
Just
Yeah.
the interesting point of that is like when I went to have to look back up chivalry as
My buddy Ron. Hey, buddy. I wear a girdle now just for the clout. I wear it, honestly, I wear it for auditions just so I don't look fat.
There you
It's
go.
really-
I remember like when I went to like look up chivalry and try to figure that out, I was like, because it seems like a good thing, like opening the doors and the pulling out the chairs and all that stuff. But if you read into it, it's based in because women are stupid and helpless, and you're
Fair.
oh Nikes, because it's like the reason
they were
you
property back in the day. I mean,
right?
You know.
So the chivalrous thing to do would be to be like, listen, they are useless, so you might as well treat them nice and pet like you would for a dog,
right?
And when you think about it like that, until I had a partner who was, you know, not, this doesn't matter, physical doesn't matter, but we were the same height, you know, we had the same age, we had the same degree, and everything was equal. And I went to do something chivalrous, and she was like, "What are you doing?" And I went, "What do you mean?" And she's like, or this was another chivalrous thing, to step in front of her and fight for her. You know, to be like, "How dare you?"
Yeah.
And she goes, whoa, I can handle this shit. You know, like, pardon my French. I can handle my own things. This wasn't going to be a physical altercation. And I went, oh, sometimes chivalry was based in, oh, I think you can't handle it, sweetheart. And I just wanted to make sure, just like Jamie said, in the skeeves, you got to eliminate the skeeves, but still have some of the
I think it's about, respect. Like respecting, and not just men and women, but respecting other people. I think that's kind of gone by the wayside, where it's like, people filming in crowded areas, people on the phone, like watching a video, listening while they're sitting next to you in a waiting room without headphones. And you're like, there's just no respect for anybody else. I don't even know why cars have rear view mirrors. Like, people don't give a shit about anybody else for the most part.
Why is it that they can hike with their music on for everyone to hear? What if I don't like your music?
They don't care. It's everyone's a brand. No one's about community anymore. It's about, I got to get mine. And
I can't wait for us to do it's called the Shake the Fist podcast. And it's just complaining about this.
Oh, man. Well, look, if the president today said, "Ask not what your country can do for you, but ask what you can do for your country," people will go,
"Huh?" Yeah.
What are you talking about?
You nailed it there.
It's just there's no
Justin's
sense of
tattoo. They would recite Justin's tattoo.
I think it's everything's changed a bit, but I don't know.
By the way, I found for the female, the front tramp stamp is called a vag badge.
Oh my God, that is.
And mine would say, "Are you mad at me?"
Are you mad at me? Ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Listen, we got to wrap this thing anyway. Hey, seriously, I had a list of things I wanted to chat with you.
Are you mad at me? That needs to be the last thing said. That's it.
That's the T-shirt. My other T-shirt I want to make is "I'm not your butler," which I want to put. I'm gonna make a T-shirt. And "Are you mad at me?" is the next one.
Are you mad at me?
Gillian Vigman, you are the absolute best. Honestly, with your therapy,
I can't wait. We're gonna get into Kink Nation.
Hey, I've never said this, and the guys can attest to this because I've been on for almost 8 months now. There's I've never laughed harder.
I know. I told you guys. I told you she's.
I've
What
never,
a pleasure.
I've never laughed harder, and this is the funniest. I put the hat on. Funniest episode I've been on. You.
I don't know. I
That's so
tested.
lovely.
We've auditioned together.
We tested together.
I tested for a show, and it was the only people to test were me and 3 women. And I'm like, I'm booking this thing, and I don't know which woman's going to get it. So I read with 3 different women. You were the last one, and we went in the room. I don't think I got 2 words in. The other 2 I crushed, but also they were by the 3rd time they'd seen everything I had in my tool bag.
Right.
So the 3rd time in, I suck. She rocks the free world.
I hope I wasn't a jerk.
Not at all. No. She rocks it. She books it. I'm the only guy at the test. I don't get it. Matthew Lillard gets it with you. You shut the shit. And then it doesn't go. I don't think it went. Did it not go?
Oh, no.
How many pilots did you shoot that didn't go?
Too many.
Too many.
Not like Dave Chappelle style, but like, I mean, it's a sad.
I think that
awful.
might have been the first time I was in the room. I think she said things in the scene, and I started laughing like I was watching the scene and not in it.
It would be very difficult for me to do a scene with you. Yeah. And not be cracking up, especially if it was an audition where you actually have to do it.
My agent called me after, and I was like, "So which woman got it?" And they were like, Vigman. And I go, "Oh, that's epic." And they go, "You didn't." And I go, "What do you mean I didn't get it?" I go, "I was the only guy there."
Both parts.
I go, "I'm the only dude there." They go, "Yeah, they didn't."
We know.
They didn't get it. I honestly, it was Matthew Lillard coming off a Scream. I'm pretty sure he had an offer, but I don't know. But
I don't remember.
That's at least what I tell myself
Holding
when I try to
deal,
sleep
most
at night.
likely.
Maybe.
But that's CMT doing was CMT.
Yeah, listen. It's by the way, in the world that we live in now, that I noticed that you don't use that as the example. Like, look at this is what she's done. No one remembers.
Jobo. No, but you've been never. And also Tacoma FD. We didn't do. I'm sorry. We got to talk about your. We wanted to talk about your porn star character on.
Which was based on that person is alive and well and has 2
next
daughters.
Time. That's a teaser for the next one. You went to school with all the broken lizard guys. You're a Colgate.
I know all those sweet boys.
All
the
those
best.
sweet boys.
Yeah, they're even more disgusting than me.
They are absolutely.
Yes, that's true.
Lemmy's done this show so many times. I go, Lemmy. He's like, all right. He's usually drinking. Do it. So, all right, listen, we got to roll. I got to go put kids to bed.
Guys,
yes. Please, no, you may. This might be your show from now on. I think
come back anytime.
Yeah,
it'll be called the Gillian Vigman podcast.
Yeah.
And we'll take questions from the audience, and therapy questions, and we'll break down people's.
But I'm not a therapist. That's so unethical. I can't do that yet.
Just give yourself a fake doctor name. Like,
hold on, you're telling me there's no one online giving advice that aren't qualified?
Fair enough. We'll work on that then. Okay.
By the way, you should follow Jim Cramer's stock advice. It's really tough. I watched some guy. I saw some guy on Instagram today giving medical advice, telling people not to eat oatmeal. It was bad for you. Yeah. And I'm like, what the? So I start reading the comments, and everyone's like, "You're an idiot. You're 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 whatever." All right, listen. Amazing. Justin Ruppel, Jason Gowan, Jamie Kaler, our wonderful guests this evening, Gillian Vigman. You are awesome. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you,
wherever you're watching this, follow, like, subscribe, write some reviews. And that's all I have. We'll see you guys next time here in the Parents Lounge.
Good night, everybody.
Thank you.